Hey, Bushcraft family here today, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Yes, I had reported about this way back in February and January. Actually, I think I touched a little bit about it last year of what was going on with the shipping issues and things like that. Well, it finally got noticed by the major medias and stuff like that. So I thought I'd touch a little bit about it today on. I guess I'm just gonna call this little episode on Wednesdays Prep Now. It seems to be catchy enough. But yeah, now's the time we should be really thinking about getting those items, not just the food items, the things that we'll need, and prices will just be going up. If you're not even if you're a prepper, if because the prices will be going up, and there's not going to be any clear sign of this getting any better. This is going to be the norm, if not worse than it is now, much worse, because it's getting very bad on West Coast and other places. I'm going to touch on a few things today about our shipping, our imports and everything, exports, all that stuff. Let's go ahead and just jump right on over to it. Let's make sure it flips over. Yay! It worked. Okay, now this is recently. The U.S. is facing a supply chain crisis. Said this before, as 21 cargo ships float off the coast of L.A. waiting to dock. Now I've showed some images before of what it looks like at the docks. There's like just say produce. Produce sits on the side and it just rots because they can't get it out in time, or they can't get it from the docks to distribution where it's supposed to go to grocery stores and whatnot. And it just sits there and rots. It's just trash. And there's piles and piles of this stuff just sitting because they just don't have the resources to get it out of there in time, or to get it on ships to go where it needs to go. Let's read a little bit about this. A supply chain crisis is quietly brewing off the coast of Southern California as massive freighters wait for dock space to open up. California ports in Los Angeles and Long Beach account for 1/3 of U.S. imports. That's 1/3. These ports operate as primary source of imports from China, yes, and have been heavily congested for months. It's been that way since the shutdown and stuff like that. I probably shouldn't have said that word. It's a shame when I have to think of what I'm saying before I say the words. Like, ooh, am I going to get in trouble for saying that? Because at the moment I'm in kind of YouTube jail or something. But that's another story. we won't get into that too much. On Wednesday, the 21st, ships were anchored off the coast, waiting for the spot to open up to unload Los Angeles and Long Beach ports, according to data from Marine Exchange in Southern California. And evidently, this is a normal. If you guys can see this this image right here, let me see if I can bump that up a little bit. Oh, guess not. Is it control? Yep. Let's bump it up a little bit right there. As you can see, there is tons of cargo ships. And when they're sitting there, that's money. They're wasting money right there. And let's see if we can get this back down 100% so we don't mess up our other pages. There we go. And this evidently is the norm. And let me see where also I've seen some of the container ships have been waiting offshore for weeks. One of the vessels has been at berth since April 3rd. April 3rd. Of the ships waiting to dock, half of them are what Marine Merchant calls mega container ships, or ships with carry capacity of 10,000. I think it's 10-foot containers. I think it is something like that. I'm not sure what that stands for. I think it's a 10-foot unit. Part of the problem is the ships are double and triple size of ships we were seeing 10 to 15 years ago. That's here nor there. The problem is that just we're backed up, and we had not knowing what to do since the shutdown. I've already said it, so I might as well keep saying it. The ships carry millions of dollars worth of popular imports, including furniture, auto parts, clothes, electronics, which is a big one right there, electronics. You're going to see more about that coming up. And plastics. According to data from the Port of Los Angeles, supplies of these materials could be heavily depleted in the U.S. due to backlog of ships. And this doesn't have anything to do with the Suez Canal. We're still being hurt by that alone. Let's see. Yeah, we already seen this, and yeah, January we hit a record high of 38 container ships were waiting along the coast, and that's when I started. That's when I put out a couple videos about it, and it just I don't know if people just brushed it off or just didn't think so much about it, but now it's getting worse, and it's not going to get any better. Let's go ahead and switch to this one, and yeah, got to blame it for this. But I know for a fact that certain places, okay, say a farmer milks all of his cows, and he's hauling the milk to the next place. I'm not going to say what it is, but you guys can kind of figure it out. It's not to the store. It's to a place that puts it together and either makes cheeses or makes stuff like that out of it or something like that. During the shutdown, only essential workers were supposed to be working. And you would think this plant was an essential place. And I know people that had worked at these places was wondering why they were not allowed to go back to work. And they had that plant shut down. I'm going to call it a plant. Shut down for a month. So you gotta think, if that one was shut down, and if there was more of these across the country were shut down, think of all the stuff, how far backed up we were at that point. And like produce, all this stuff that was coming into these places, they just had to dump the stuff because there was nobody there to take it. And all this stuff was rotting, milk was getting dumped out and stuff like that. I've done videos on that. You guys can go back here and check them out. But yeah, And this is about the shipping containers. Um, yeah, right here. Oh, no, that's not it. Oh, right here. Right here it is. Yeah. The cost of rent and shipment have also risen. Before 2020, transportating a standard 40-foot, 12-meter container on a ship selling from China port cost $1,000. Currently, one currently one has to pay up to $10,000. 10,000 in a year. That's how much that's went up. Woo, that is a lot. Rising prices are always a sign of imbalance. In this case, it is a sign increasing demand for containers or shipping space. And I already said that there is a place in. Okay, we'll put it this way: do your research, see who makes the majority of the shipping containers. Yeah, China. And China has a almost an island of shipping containers, nothing in them, just sitting somewhere. And what do you think that is? That's called controlling the market. They're raising the price of shipping just by holding containers. And I don't know if it's here. Yeah, look at the size of this thing. That is humongous. Just think of all that stuff just to ship the things. Not how much the stuff costs. The things in it. Just think 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, 10, all the way across. That's a lot of money. Just look at all the money on the back of this thing. Just right there. It's amazing. And here, we'll scroll down to this guy down here. I have never seen anything like this, said Lars Jensen, or Michael Jensen, head of Global Ocean Network at AP, whatever the name was, the world's largest shipping company. All the links in supply chains are stretched. The ships, the trucks, the warehouses. Um, yeah, it's the one thing I wanted to get down to is was at the store the other day and I took a picture of the rice and how much it was, and it's like double in price. Right here, rice exporters in uh, Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia are forging some shipments due to North America because it's an impossibility of securing containers. Um, and that's the same thing with sugar for into India. And there's countless others. People's trying to get these shipping containers so they can send their stuff to the United States to make their money, and they just can't get them containers and stuff. And the main reason is somebody's hoarding them, and the prices of the containers keep going up. And then they start releasing them, and they're making buku money on this stuff. But also got to think of all the stuff that's coming that we don't make here in the United States. Like the computer chips, laptops, and all that stuff is smartphones. All that stuff is going to be, it's going to be through the. I mean, it's high now. Just think how it's going to be next year, or at the end of this year. It's going to be outrageous, and you got to start and think of lawnmowers, motor parts, and brakes. That we don't make our brakes here in the United States. All that stuff comes in. All that stuff's going to go is going to be extremely expensive. I can keep on going. Furniture, we hardly ever make furniture in the United States anymore. It's either going to get to the point that somebody wakes up and we start making this stuff here in the United States, because the cheap stuff we're getting from China or wherever it's coming from, it's costing more to ship it than it would be to make it over here in the United States, where we don't have to worry about shipping just to whatever store we're going to go to. So I know, like Intel, they're one of the biggest computer chips makers in the United States, but they're nowhere near what the chips for like the iPhone and stuff like that, the little bitty ones for cell phones and things like that. And we get a lot of those chips. And eventually, China is going to go and take that islands over there in Taiwan. Eventually, I'm seeing it. Just the fact that they can get them chips. And you imagine what we're going to be paying for those chips then. I mean, if it's gone up by from $1,000 to $10,000 to ship something from China to wherever, you can just imagine how it's going to be for. I mean, you can go down the list of things. Like everybody complains about why don't buy stuff from Amazon and things like that. The thing is, right now, you really do not have a choice in the matter. You either get it from Amazon or you just don't get it, because you can't go to the local store anymore because they don't have it. If they would supply that item, so you have to use Amazon, and most of that stuff comes from over there. So what I'm saying is we need to start thinking about the things that, not only the food, there's countless things like parts for the motors for your tractors, your things like that are not from this country, because we don't make them here. We send for them across the pond. So you got to start thinking of that stuff and buying it now, putting it up. That way it's not going to cost 100 times more than it does now. And that's where we're going for it. And China's making buku bucks on sending that stuff over. And it would just be so much simpler if we just started making this stuff here, instead of paying 10 times as much to get it sent to us. But that's my spiel for today. It just irritates me that we're still waiting for this stuff, and we can just make it here. I mean, a lot of things like the chips and things, I understand that, but we are getting better at making the chips. I know NVIDIA is. I know a lot of people that work at NVIDIA, and like they're doing a big plant over in Phoenix, Arizona, a big complex, billions of dollars they're putting into that, and they're supposed to be by the time that gets up and running, we should be making our own chips by then, hopefully. But guys, I want to thank everybody for watching. Please like, share, comment, all that stuff. If you're going to subscribe, please do so. Make sure you comment, say you're new or whatnot. I always say it. Until next time, guys, God bless, and prep.